11 months into Donald Trump's second presidential term have been defined by his decline, both physically and mentally, but also, alongside that, a decisive and rapid push toward more authoritarian nativist policies, particularly targeting immigration and seeking to swiftly overturn the actions of his predecessor, Joe Biden. This aggressive stance, often delivered through late-night social media posts, signals a significant escalation of the anti-immigrant and hyper-partisan rhetoric that characterized his first term. A pivotal moment in this policy shift has occurred following the attack near the White House in which 2 National Guard members were shot on Wednesday evening. The following day, Donald Trump announced the death of one of the guardsmen, Sarah Beckstrom. Authorities identified the suspected shooter as an Afghan national who entered the U.S. legally in 2021 under a program that evacuated and resettled tens of thousands from Afghanistan following the U.S. military withdrawal. The suspect, who was later confirmed to have worked with CIA-backed military units during the war, was granted asylum under the Trump administration months before the shooting. The president's immediate, aggressive response to the shooting, a rapid deployment of more National Guard troops, and sweeping anti-immigrant policy changes, which serves as a clear illustration of weaponizing a crisis to advance an authoritarian agenda.
Your DOJ IG just reported this year that there was thorough vetting by DHS and by the FBI of these Afghans who were brought into the U.S. So why do you blame the Biden administration?
Because they let them in. Are you stupid? Are you a stupid person? Because they came on a plane along with thousands of other people that shouldn't be here, and you're just asking questions because you're a stupid person. And there's a law passed that it's almost impossible not to get them out. You can't get them out once they come in. And they came in, and they were unvetted, they were unchecked, there were many of them, and they came in on big planes, and it was disgraceful.
This escalation comes despite the fact that a federal judge had just ruled that the deployment of National Guard troops to D.C. for crime deterrence was illegal, arguing it unlawfully militarizes domestic law enforcement and violates the capital's self-governance. By seizing on the attack, the regime deflects scrutiny from its legally questionable use of military forces in a civilian policing role, while simultaneously using the alleged immigrant status of the suspect as the pretext to unleash a torrent of new restrictions, all while reports of aggressive ICE abductions in communities and outside courthouses have demonstrably ramped up across the country. In the wake of this attack, which Trump immediately used as a political flashpoint, the regime announced a barrage of new sweeping immigration reforms. In a Thanksgiving-themed social media post sent late last night, the president declared his intention to permanently pause migration from all third-world countries. While the post provided no explanation for how such a policy would be legally enacted, nor did it specify which countries would be classified as Third World, the Department of Homeland Security later pointed to a 2017 travel ban list of 19 countries, including Afghanistan, Laos, and Venezuela, when questioned on the matter. The Post further claimed the regime would end all federal benefits and subsidies to non-citizens and remove anyone who is not a net asset to the United States. In the 24 hours following the shooting, the U.S. State Department announced an immediate pause on issuing visas to anyone traveling on an Afghan passport. Concurrently, the U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services indefinitely suspended processing immigration requests for Afghan nationals pending a comprehensive review. This review was quickly expanded by the Department of Homeland Security to include all asylum cases approved under the Biden administration. At Trump's request, the USCIS director also directed a full-scale, rigorous re-examination of every green card for every alien from every country of concern, again, without publicly specifying the full list of nations deemed of concern. These aggressive actions followed recent moves to cancel temporary protected status designations for countries like Venezuela, Haiti, Somalia, and Afghanistan, which had provided legal protections and benefits to immigrants from those nations. Trump asserted that the system for granting safe haven was widely abused by the previous administration. He blamed without evidence the presence of migrants and refugees for a list of social issues including high crime, urban decay and the rising deficit, claiming this refugee burden is the leading cause of social dysfunction in America. The rhetoric and policy announcements mark a clear intensification of the anti-migrant policies that dominated the beginning of his second term, leveraging the shooting to justify mass deportations of people of color and severe restrictions on legal immigration pathways for people from non-white countries. In parallel with the immigration crackdown, Trump has declared his intent to cancel most of the executive orders signed by Joe Biden, basing his false justification on a novel and unfounded claim about the use of an auto pen, a signature machine commonly used by U.S. presidents, including Trump himself. He basically alleged that radical left lunatics surrounding Biden used the auto pen to sign documents, including executive orders and pardons, without Biden's explicit approval. He falsely claimed that this made approximately 92% of all executive orders invalid, and even suggested Biden could face perjury charges if he claimed involvement in the signing process. This fixation on the AutoPen device, which the Justice Department confirmed in 2005 a president is legally allowed to direct an official to use, has been a recurring theme in Trump's statements, a direct assault on the legitimacy of Joe Biden's entire policy legacy. The announcement was quickly celebrated by Republican allies, including the conservative Heritage Foundation's Oversight Project, which has promoted the narrative, and the Republican chair of the House Oversight Committee, Congressman James Comer, who applauded the actions to deem Biden's AutoPen actions null and void. Despite the sweeping claims, the Oversight Committee's own report on the matter, released in October, did not include any concrete evidence that aides conspired to enact policies without Biden's knowledge, or that he was unaware of the documents signed in his name. Nonetheless, by attacking the legitimacy of the signature, a basic procedural act, Trump is attempting to set a precedent to rapidly and broadly nullify the policies of the previous administration with a single stroke, further demonstrating a highly centralized and confrontational approach to the separation of executive power. These twin policy drives, the aggressive, often extra-legal escalation of anti-immigration measures, and the unprecedented effort to invalidate the executive actions of his predecessor, underscore a growing willingness within the regime to challenge established norms and legal constraints in pursuit of a highly authoritarian policy agenda. I'm Anthony Davis. You can find me on the 5 Minute News YouTube channel and podcast, on Wednesdays co-hosting Uncovered, and on Sundays on The Weekend Show with MeidasTouch.
Love this video? Support independent media and unlock exclusive content, ad-free videos, and custom emojis by becoming a paid member of our YouTube channel today. You can also gift memberships to others. Let's keep growing together.